Okay, so let us turn on no board, just so you guys can see the keyboard on screen. I'm recording this. Hopefully you guys if you didn't get a chance today, we'll watch this and work on this. All right. So let's work on the shield. I'm gonna start with a cylinder. Let's make a cylinder. Whoops, it's a two-step operation. So click once and then click for the height. I'm hitting P on my keyboard. Yeah. All right. If I hit Alt and X. So, you know, the beauty of this is we have other references that we can use. Let me minimize this. We have other references that we can use that I'll just pull up and show you guys. Okay, so we've also got some decent reference here so that now I can tell what it looks like on the other side a little bit more over there, and then I can see the thickness here so you guys can see that it's kind of bowled out. So I'm gonna do a cylinder, and then you can see how it kind of bevels out. So that's gonna help us in making this guy. So now that I know that, all I need to do is select my cylinder here. I'm going to remove my my segments there. I'm going to actually let's just do 20 sides. And then I'm going to hit Edit Poly. Throw an Edit Poly modifier on that bad boy. Like so, pull this guy down. It's a little thick. I'm going to hit R on my keyboard and I'm just going to scale this guy in a little bit because it's got that kind of scaled in kind of feel. So next thing I'm going to do is hit R. Again, I'm going to hold down Shift. I'm going to inset this guy right here. So if I turn on if I hit F2, it toggles that red. And I usually like to leave it off so that I can see through. But sometimes it helps just to be able to know what's going on. And then this piece right here, it goes in like that. All right, maybe not that thick. All right, but something like that. And then I'm gonna do an inset. I'm gonna hit R again, Shift, drag it for this guy, hold down Shift, just pushing this guy in. Alright. Alright, the next thing I want to do is with that guy selected, I'm going to detach this interior face right here. Just going to detach it. Then I'm going to select it. So now if I hit Alt and X, so I've got my rim, my metal rim essentially, and now what I want to do is select this guy, interface, hit R again. I'm just going to inset this time because what I want to do is give myself just 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. Like that. And then Control select my verts, grow that selection, and then pull these guys out like that. Alright, another thing I can do is just use my FFD modifier like I taught you guys to do. One on the keyboard, select these inner points, and then just Select these inner points and then pull out. Maybe let's do soft selection instead. Let's just use soft selection, and then we can just use that to get that out like so. I'm gonna hit Alt and X. And Alt X here, I can see. So now I just want to make sure that, all right, let's inset this right here one more time. All right. I'm gonna cut that guy out of there. But now I've got my let's turn off soft selection. I've got my shape here. Now if I hold down Control and Shift at the same time, I can create another piece using that same selection. So let me show you that. So I just created an extra little piece right here that I can use. And I'm just gonna hold down Shift, drag like that, bevel, inset. So let's do Alt X again, like that. So in Alt X, I can see the rim of my that centerpiece. It's okay. All right, so hold down Shift once again. Give me one moment. I'm gonna put my dog up. Give me one. All right. So the next piece we want to create is that centerpiece right here, and for that, we can just use a sphere. That's actually make a cube. This is going to give us better topology. This is usually something I teach depending on the kind of asset you're creating. You might want to use different types of topology. So I'm going to use a cube this time, and I'll show you guys this method. I'm going to do maybe 20 by 20 by 20 segments, and then I'm just going to throw a sphere file on this. Just hit S on the keyboard to get me to sphere file, and that's going to turn that into a sphere, giving me this nice topology, this nice quad topology. And then I can align that guy to this X, Y, and Z. And Control C. All right. So this guy, I want to affect the symmetry center to the object, and then just align it so that it's in the center of our shield like so. So if I hit Alt X, you guys can see what we've done. So another cool thing to do is to kind of work using the materials you're gonna, you're gonna kind of see. So I like to go in, and you guys know me, just drag some new materials out here. I'm gonna call this leather, and then let's do worn steel. I'm gonna call this worn steel, and we'll make it. I'm just gonna pick from the color. All right, just gonna find a gray. Yep, that works for me. And then for the leather, I'll do the same thing. All right. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty close, so I'm gonna do that there. Do the worn steel there. And then it's got this worn steel. It's got that steel and brass. So let's pick this brass looking color. Then I can increase the value. And that's going to be our sphere here. All right. So just like that, we've started to create it, and we can talk about how we would go about creating, this little line in the middle, and then some of that pull that the leather would have, and that's a cool little asset we're gonna work on. And then it's like wood slats in the back. So I'll show you guys how to create those wood slats in the back as well. And yeah, we'll move right along with this guy. All right. So now I'm just gonna want to add. Let me add some edge loops here. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna chamfer this edge right here. A little bit like that. I'm actually gonna make it one of these. I'm gonna do two. And the reason I do these are this is like the idea of a double chamfer. So let me show you guys. So a double chamfer gives you two really nice highlights, and you use this a lot of times whenever you're making, whenever you're doing stuff for like advertising, right? This is a little tip that I like to give people. Whenever you're doing stuff for advertising, and you're doing rounded surfaces or things like this on metals that have changing directions, and they're supposed to catch the light. You want to give them a double chamfer, because what that does is it helps the lighting catch two different times. So it's going to give you this nice two rimmed highlight as the highlight goes around, and it looks really cool whenever you're trying to render it. So I'll show you that double highlight here in a second. So I'll do one like that, and then I'll chamfer it again. So this is a double chamfer right here. But instead of that, we'll do this guy, just a regular chamfer. Like that, and then you just want to bring it in. I'm gonna control backspace to remove that guy. Control backspace to remove that guy. And you guys will see. You see, this is the highlight I'm talking about right here. Let's turn on the turbo smooth, so you guys can see that. So as you guys can see, we hit these two different transitions right here that whenever the light hits it, it's going to make it look really nice, right? Like look at this highlight as it goes around. Right, so here it's going to be one highlight, but over here you have a chance of getting this nice highlight right here and right here for your model. Right, so that's the idea of the double chamfer. As you guys can see, that highlight, right, as it goes around. It looks pretty cool, you know, compared to, you know, another side. Like it's, you know, you guys can see that highlight going around. So that's the idea of the double chamfer. And I'm not going to do those dents in here. That's something I would do in my an external package. But you guys can start to understand the drift behind this. So let's select this guy, and we're going to make this guy metal. This is worn steel that we have here, and I just want to make sure that it is correct. So I'm just going to bring this guy in a little bit. All right, and then let's hit 3 on the keyboard, and then just kind of increase this guy a little bit. And then I want to scale this guy up. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I want to add a slice modifier so that I get the shape I need. So I'm just going to add a slice modifier to my sphere here. On the y-axis, I'm going to remove the positive and then cap it on the other side. All right. So now I know it's right down the middle. Now I can just slide that bad boy right on there. Actually, we're going to bring it further back because we need to bring this guy further back to lay atop. All right. And then we can just throw a turbo smooth on here. Let's do a turbo smooth. All right. 2, and then I'm just gonna find our brass texture. That's our brass. All right. And just like that, we've got that front side almost wrapped up. All right. So let's take this, the back of this. Meaning, I'm gonna hide this and actually select these guys. Alt Q to isolate our shield here. All right. So we need to go back to our reference again and take a look at our reference so that we see what it looks like. So on the other side, it's got these guards that he can shove the sword in and use it to hold, right? And then, ooh, okay, that looks kind of sharp. Yeah. So he's got some guards and a hand holding, and then you can tell it's like wood slats on the back. So that's exactly what we are going to do now. Is we're just going to kind of go back, take off our smoothing there, go into our edit poly, select this guy like so. All right, we're going to detach this guy from it, and from the looks of it, it looks like our slats ran vertically. So I'm going to hit the 1 on the keyboard, and then I'm just going to start connecting. All right, connect. Oops. Connect. All right. I'm selecting those two verts, and then I'm connecting them. I'm actually going to connect this guy as well, and then this guy as well. And then I will select all of these edges, right? If it's not selected, I can control, select all of those edges, and then I'm going to split them. And now that I've split those edges, each one of these is now a single piece. And since it's a single piece, all I will need to do now is throw a shell modifier on this bad boy. So I'm going to throw a shell modifier on. And if you guys can't see what it's doing, it's increasing the amount of thickness, right, in the either in the outer or the inner direction. I want to go inside. All right, so if I go inner like that, about like an inch, 1.5, I've got a good thickness. And if I throw on some width segments, I'll show you what happens if I throw turbo smooth on this. It's going to start to look a little Gumby-ish at first, but if we go back down into our edit poly modifier, which we haven't really done anything to here, so we're just going to select all of these guys like that, right click, and then connect. We're going to connect to, well, let's actually make sure every one of them is selected, right click, connect, like that. And what we want to do is hit 2 and then slide these guys all the way to the top as far as you can slide them, and then select each one of these guys, ring it again, and then right click, connect, like that. Right, so here's one way to do it. So because what's gonna happen then is now we're gonna get this wood slat looking thing, right? You guys can see that. So now it looks like we've got wood slats on our on the back of our thing. So if I throw, where's our wood texture here? Alright, but we still have a problem with this little guy. Alright, so what I want to do is actually, I want to try a different method with you guys so that you guys can see, you know, all the alternatives to creating this kind of detail. So I'm going to turn off my modifier there, but I've got my object here. I'm going to turn off my segments in my shell, and then I'm going to throw another edit poly modifier on this. So select all, and then what I want to do is I want to hit the extrude, and then not do the height, just do the width. So what that's going to do is it's going to create extra geometry for us. And now if I turn on turbo smooth, I can see what it is doing. So let's see if that worked. So I'm going to edit poly. So I'm just going to select all. Let's do extrude. This is chamfer. So that's another method. But let's do this extrude, like so. Hit the check mark, and then turn on turbo smooth. See, it doesn't do it as well. Oh, it's not bad. But we're still getting some of that gumbiness. We'd still have to go in if we did that, and then on the other side. And the reason is because we're not locking these two these two edges. So yeah, that first way is probably gonna be our best bet. All right, so let us find our way to making it happen. All right, so we're going to turn off the shell. It's actually, I can cut this guy out of there. We go into our edit poly modifier, right? Make sure we select all of these edges that we have. All right, right click, connect, deselect, connect, and then just slide these guys all the way to the top. 99 on slide, and then ring this guy. Connect. $99 seems a little harsh, so I might do connect. Let's bring it to like 91. Because I do want some, you know, because if we ever bake this stuff out, you want something that's going to show up on the normal map pretty nicely. So, and we need to address these two side pieces right here. So, this piece right here, I'm just going to need to select these guys like that, this guy like that, connect to, and if you can see it, right, it's going to give you those same edges. Right, and now they should be fine. All right, and in my shell, I might go in and throw in some more segments. That's going to just throw some segments on the side. So now we've got the wood in the back, and the next thing we want to do is might want to scale this guy up. Let's turn on turbo smooth for this guy. I'm just going to go back to the steel, and I want to throw more geo here. So actually, let's bridge. So I'm going to select this hole right here in the front and this one in the back, and we're just going to bridge them. Just going to bridge them together. Let's hit F4 so you guys can see what's going on. Just going to bridge those two. And then I can select these guys, select that guy, those guys in there, and then these guys, whoops, these guys loop my selection, right click, and then chamfer. All right, I'm gonna get that same cool double chamfer going on there. All right. Just like that. I might want to scale this guy up so it fits more snugly under there. All right. So now we're starting to cook a little bit. Let's hit the wood texture. Then we're going to hit F or L on the keyboard. And then I'm going to make, actually let's just use a rectangle. Just going to use this as my base. hit W, just bring it right over here like so. Length and width. Okay, let's see if I can see other pieces of reference that'll help us. So we've got that. Okay. So that's probably what I'm going to use as my reference to build this. So it's got this flat. So let's just make it enable render, enable in viewport, enable in the renderer. I'm gonna hit 2 on the keyboard. Actually convert this guy to an editable spline before I do that. Hit 2. And then I can just delete this bottom part here. Alright, it just needs to be something that he can hold, so I would imagine it's not stupid thick. It's not like crazy. But I think that should be fine. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this geometry. Alright, so I'm going to select this guy. And I am going to shift, drag a piece of it over here, delete this one, 3, and then now, whoops, all right. All right, that's the cool thing about, you know, using what you've got. It's just going to turn everything into a corner. And then now I can select this guy like so. And I'm going to go into my geometry tab and then just use the fillet to give myself a nice softer bend on that. And then bring this guy in like so. Just make it so it's not crazy thick. Alright, so I'm going to hit 2 again. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to create kind of this like leather strappy area right here. And just using the geometry that I have here. So I'm going to shift drag because it looks like it's, you know, it's kind of buckled in. So I'm just going to hit 1 on the keyboard to go into my vert mode. Hit 2, F3. F3 to help me see what's going on kind of underneath it. And then I'm going to refine it. I'm just going to add a few of these guys in here. Hit 1 again on my keyboard. F4. And now I can use these that I made as the beginnings of my little strappy deal. All right. So this is the, you know, this is the beauty of this stuff is that I can just make these guys smooth like so. All right. So I've got kind of like a leather strap going here, and Yeah, I'm just gonna capture whatever I need to from here and then move on. So another thing I realized I might need is this bottom part here. So I'm just gonna duplicate some of this information that I have here, bring it up one up here, so like that. You bring this guy down a little bit, and then hit 2 on my keyboard. I need another piece right here. I'm kind of going, you know, through all these different ways just to show you guys there's a few different ways to create, you know, a bunch of stuff. So I can weld those, weld that, and then I'm just gonna select both of those, right? And before I do anything, I always like to make them corners because they just act a little better. And I'm gonna make these guys corners as well, so that we have something flat like that. Let me go to the perspective view so you guys can see what's going on. So I'm just, you know, I welded these two verts together, and now I've got myself this little L shape that's going on right here in that reference image. So now I can fillet this. Oops, I want to make sure I have both of these guys selected, and then just throw a little fillet on there. Alright. So before I've even left my line tool, I've got myself a decent base shape to use to create what I need to create. And because it's still in this editable spline view, I can still make edits to its width, right, and how thick it is. Alright, so don't forget some of these keys or these tools that you have in your arsenal. You're not bound to whatever you've made just because, you know. So that's why usually sometimes I'll create a duplicate of this, or, you know, instead of just going crazy, now I can just throw an edit poly modifier on top of this guy. Right? I can throw an edit poly modifier and then just continue my edits from here. So now this piece, it's got like this ornate piece at the top, so I can just go shift drag, make it a part of the element, grab the border, shift drag that like so, cap it, right, and then I can shift drag this, control right click, extrude, right, extrude that bad boy for me, maybe one more like that, scale these in, control, select them as a vert. Now I can scale them in on the x-axis like that. All right, and I can then do the same for the top. I can select this, boom, boom. All right. So this is, now I've gone from modeling in that fashion, right, in using splines, to now I'm modeling using boxes, right, box modeling, right. And that's the cool thing about this kind of stuff is, you know, you don't have to do it one way. So now I've got these two. What I want to do is I want to make the nails that are on this guy. So I'm going to hold down Control Shift, drag these guys out like that as an element. I can scale these guys down. I'm going to select these two, boom, boom, like that. Connect. Select this guy, ring. Connect again, right? So now I can right click, let's convert this guy to an editable poly. I'm gonna now select these guys, X, I'm gonna do regularize, Boom. It turns those into circles for me. I don't know why it spun this one around. But as you guys can see, I have my nails now. I've made myself a circle. Boom. Shift. Drag. Like so. Right, I've just made myself some nails to go right onto my board. And if I hit Alt and 1, or just hit 2 on the keyboard, select these guys, ring it, right click, connect. Maybe do 2. And now if I start, throw my turbo smooth on, you guys can see I'm starting to get the info and the detail that I want. So with this guy, we can just select this guy, boom, like so. Bring this guy in. And since this is our metal, let's just throw on our worn metal material on this guy. This is our leather. So hit M on the keyboard. Leather. Right. And then just throw metal on these guys. So now all we need to do is symmetry these guys. So I can just hold down Shift Control, make it into an element. Whoops. Let's actually detach, hit OK. And then if we do a mirror, no clone. Let's bring this guy in like so. Alright, and for our leather piece, like that's right here, we just need to go in here, like so. Alt 1, actually just select this guy, ring it, right click, connect. Let's do 3. I'm going to do 1 like that, pull. Now you're just pulling verts to make that lace, or that piece right there. Right, so now if I hit Alt, I'm just going to add some edge loops. Alt 1, add one right there, and right there. And I would usually, select all of those and make it kind of like a uniform thing, but the more I model, the more I feel like some of that stuff, I like to keep it a little more organic, because it'll just give it it feels like it gives it a little bit more life when one side is softer. Building imperfection into things that look perfect is part of art. It's a part of making that stuff just feel a little more real and look a little bit more real. So that's one of those things that I try to do, where I've gotten to the point where it just looks too mechanical, so I'll try to throw a little bit of life in there. So I can start pulling these guys, and so there's supposed to be a buckle right here, and I think that's what we're gonna create next class. So as you can see, we've got a nice start to our model here. So I'm just going to select this guy, and that's for organic pieces. For like hard surface pieces, if I'm doing like things like a screw or metal buckles, like things like that, I want to be a little more mechanical because they are machined. But things that like have human elements to them, a lot of the times you want to give a little bit of life too. So here is that. So like that, that's more mechanical. That's something that I would use, you know, the computer's metrics or whatever to make that spacing definition. So like this, I can ring it, connect. I'll do 2, right? So now we're getting something that looks like that. All right. All right, so we're only missing one more thing, and that's these extra nails, or these little studs, and we've already created them. So let's just reuse the ones that we've already made, and reuse them for our model. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here. Just pull these guys up, and you know, there's no reason to make this kind of stuff twice when you've already got one. So deselect those, and then just pull these guys in. Now, you know, just make sure they're lying where they need to lie, and aren't just floating about. All right. So now it looks like, you know, there's something holding them in place. Let's do. All right. So here is the start of, you know, our model. All right, so next class I'll just show you guys how to make that buckle, and that'll be it for this guy. Well, for the most part, I might do some of the striations and some of the pinching that we're getting in here from that leather. So I might want to do that in here as well. But for the most part, this is, yeah, this is it.